Alright, so what the hell is going on with all these social media platforms currently? First, you have Elon Musk taking over Twitter, rebranding it, and getting rid of the blocking systems. You can still block people, but you can still see them and shit. And now, anyway, Facebook and Instagram and Threads, all owned by Meta, owned by Mark Zuckerberg, is doing the same, getting rid of fact checkers and making it easier for people to do hate speech. It's all going bad. So anyway, Meta, which is abandoning the use of independent fact checkers on Facebook and Instagram, replacing them with Twitter-style community notes. Yeah, they're quite shitting as well, where commenting on the accuracy of point is left to users. In a video posted alongside a blog post by company on Twitter on Tuesday, Chief Executive Mark Zuckerberg said third-party moderators were too politically biased and it was time to get back to our roots around free expression. Yeah, more like hate speech expression and conspiracy theory expression. The move comes as Zuckerberg and other tech executives seek to improve relations with US President-elect Donald Trump. Again, it's a shame he got in. Before he takes office later this month. In 10 days' time. And they've already got a video on him previously about him wanting World War III and shit. Trump and his Republican allies have criticised Meta for its fact-checking policy, calling it censorship of right-wing voices. Yeah, it's not censorship if what the right-wing are doing is racism and hate speech and conspiracy theories and etc., etc. That is not free speech when you're saying shit like that. Speaking after the changes were announced, Trump told a news conference he was impressed, because of course he was, by Zuckerberg's decision, and that Meta had come a long way. So what are you going to do? You're going to allow all these hate speech platforms back onto Facebook, like you have on Twitter. Trump and Alex Jones and Katie Hopkins, Steve Bannon, just let them all on. Let them all say all MAGA and QAnon shit. Because he's back on Twitter now as well, isn't he? Asked whether Zuckerberg was directly responding to threats Trump had made to him in the past, the incoming US president responded, probably, whatever that means. Joel Kaplan, a prominent Republican who was replacing Nick Clegg, the former Lib Dem leader, as Meta's global affairs chief, wrote that the company's reliance on independent moderators was well-intentioned but had too often resulted in censoring. Yeah, like Twitter support, they don't even have independent moderators, it's all bots. Because it took a long time for me to get my account back on when it was unfairly suspended at the time. That was before Trump took over. Anyway, campaigners against hate speech online reacted with dismay to the change and suggested it was really motivated by getting on the right side of Trump. Yeah, that's mostly part of it, and Musk. It's Trump and Musk, they want to take over everything. Zuckerberg's announcement is a blatant attempt to cozy up and get into bed with the incoming Trump administration with harmful implications, said Ava Lee, from Global Witness, a campaign group which describes itself as seeking to hold big tech to account. Claiming to avoid censorship is a political move to avoid taking responsibility for hate and disinformation that platforms encourage and facilitate, she added. That's right, emulating Twitter. Meta's current fact-checking program, introduced in 2016, that I would have thought was earlier than that, refers posts that appear to be false or misleading to independent organisations to assess their credibility. Posts flagged as inaccurate can have labels attached to them, offering viewers more information and be moved lower in users' feeds. That will now be replaced in the US first by community notes. Meta says that it has no immediate plans to get rid of its third-party fact-checkers in the UK or the EU. Okay, so it's only in America, but still. The new community notes system has been copied from Twitter, which introduced it after being bought by and renamed by Elon Musk. Yeah, you can rename it all you like. I still call it Twitter. It involves people of different viewpoints agreeing on notes which add context or clarifications to controversial posts. This is cool, he said, in Meta's adoption of a Syrian mechanism, because of course he would say that. After concerns were raised around self-harm and depressive content, Meta clarified that there would be no change to how we treat content that encourages suicide, self-injury and eating disorders. Okay. So suicide, self-injury and eating disorders, that's going to stay the same. That's not going to be affected by these new community notes. Fact-checking organisation FullFact, which participates in Facebook's programme for verifying posts in Europe, said it refutes allegation of bias made against its profession. The body's chief executive, Chris Morris, described the change as a disappointing and a backward step that risks a chilling effect around the world. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Facebook jail. After content moderators, fact-checkers sometimes describe themselves as the internet's emergency services. But Meta bosses have concluded that they have been intervening too much. No. More like the opposite. You haven't intervened enough, because sometimes you get your shit posts that are still up, never get taken down. Or the wrong people get put into Facebook jail that are calling it out. Too much harmless content gets censored. Too many people find themselves wrongly locked up in Facebook jail. That's true, yeah. And the real enemies are not getting done, which needs to be done. And we are often too slow to respond to when we do. Yes, you're too right, wrote Joel Kaplan on Tuesday. But Meta does appear to acknowledge that there is some risk involved. Zuckerberg said that in his video, changes will mean a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, video, but it will also reduce the number of innocent people's posts and accounts that we accidentally take down, he said. The approach is also at odds with very recent regulation in both the UK and Europe, where big tech firms are being forced to take more responsibility for the content they carry or face steep penalties. So it's perhaps not surprising that Meta's move away from this line of supervision is US only, for now at least. A radical swing. Meta's blog post said it would also undo the mission creep of rules and policies. It's not right that things can be said on TV or the floor of Congress, but not on our platforms, it added. It comes as technology firms and the executive prepare for Trump's inauguration on 20th of January, which I'm not looking forward to. Several CEOs have publicly congratulated Trump on his return to office, because of course they have. They're CEOs, they're all for the rich and elites. While others have travelled to Trump's Florida estate Mar-a-Lago to meet with the incoming president, including Zuckerberg, in November. Meta has also donated $1 million to inauguration fund for Trump. He's a rich bastard, they're all for the rich and elites. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards, once again, prioritising not free speech, said Zuckerberg in Tuesday's video. Meta notified Trump's team of a policy change before the announcement, the New York Times reported. Kaplan, replacing Sir Nick, a former Lib Dem Deputy Prime Minister and a Lib Dem leader, as the company's President of Global Affairs, has also been interpreted as a signal of a firm shift in approach to moderation and its changing political priorities. The company also announced on Monday that Dana White, a close Trump ally and president of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC, you think UFC, they're all MAGA pricks, would join, and WWE, would join its board of directors. Kate Klonick, Associate Professor of Law at St. John's University Law School, said the changes reflected a trend that has seemed inevitable over the last few years, especially that of Musk's takeover of Twitter. I reflected a trend. Yeah, right. The private governance of speech on these platforms has increasingly become a point of politics, she told BBC News. More like the rise of hate speech and whatnot. Where companies have previously faced pressure to build trust and safety, mechanisms to deal with issues like harassment, hate speech and disinformation. A radical switch back in the opposite direction is now underway, she added, yet. Other way as in it's going backwards, not forwards. So there you go. It's all fucked. Thanks to Musk, Zuckerberg, all these big social media platforms are all going downhill. That's why we've got Blue Sky now. I'm not sure who owns Blue Sky, but it's supposed to be a really good platform now. It's like Twitter. I'm on there, so have a lot of other people. So there we go. So what's going to happen with this, I don't know.